After reaching the last frontier between the Amazon rainforest and the towering Andes Mountains, I set out on a side mission. This time, on a different set of two wheels, with some new friends. Soon, I found myself caught between two powerful forces of nature and the enchanting song of the mermaids. I only had enough money left for a couple more meals. My first mission today was to find a Western Union before I ran out of money completely. The last time I was able to take out cash was about 2 weeks ago when I was still in Pichari. I made it the last few days riding with just a few coins and a generous donation made by one of my fans that saw me out on the road. But today in Kiabomba, I'll be able to get some cash before I set out on my next adventure. I'm not allowed to record inside of banks, but I was able to get out some cash. It should be enough to go on a side mission here in Kiabomba and also last me a few more days until I make it to Cusco. This here is the lush Kiabomba, known as the City of Eternal Summer, sitting where the Andes meet the Amazon. This warm tropical valley is famous for producing some of Peru's best coffee and world-class chuncho cacao. It's also the gateway to some of the country's wildest jungle landscapes. If you ride downstream from here, you reach the depths of the Amazon jungle. If you ride uphill from here, you reach Machu Picchu and one of the highest mountain peaks in the entire country. When I got back to the hotel, the leftover pizza from last night had already been discovered by an army of ants. Since I hate wasting food, I had to get creative. I stuck the pizza where it was much harder for the ants to creep in. That should slow them down a little. A few hours later, my plan actually worked, though there were still a few determined invaders. A couple of them got lost in the sauce. I guess that'll help me hit my protein goals. Speaking of getting creative, I cleaned my clothes in the shower and needed a way to dry them off. The old fan dryer works wonders. Let's explore a bit. Even the potted plants here grow like weeds. This pool's been tempting me since the minute I arrived here. I really should try it out sometime. I'm ready to head up top for a better view. Gotta make sure I get my steps in today since I haven't ridden my bike. A few flights of stairs should be enough to keep the weight off. They actually had a clothesline up here to dry my clothes off. I guess I didn't need to use the fan method after all. From up here, I was able to spot a mountain peak out yonder. That snow-covered giant in the distance is Mount Salcantay. In just a couple of days, I'll be climbing into those mountains. As I'm sitting up here on top of this hotel, flying my drone over Kiabomba, I can't help but realize just how far I've come. Over the past 2.5 months, I've ridden nearly 1,000 miles. I've crossed scorching deserts. I've climbed some of the highest mountains in Peru. And I've made my way through the depths of the Amazon rainforest. I've battled fatigue. I've battled hunger. And I've battled some brutal weather. For now, let's enjoy Kiabomba in this warm weather. Because in just a few days, this tropical heat's going to be replaced by freezing mountain air. I still have 2 more departments to cross before I finish off Peru and I enter into Bolivia. But it's already been one heck of a ride. The pool looks even more enticing at night. Today, the sun was shining, the tank was clean, and I was ready for an adventure. I got invited by some locals to go and visit a well-known area in the region. Before I knew it, I was cruising down the road on the back of Dan's motorcycle. It's always a good time when you got 2 Dans in one place. I wasn't really feeling this little dinky helmet they gave me. I don't think it was made for gringos. The straps didn't even strap around my neck. If we crash, this helmet's going airborne before I do. We made it to the start of the hike. His girlfriend, Morena, also joined us. People are always shocked when they see me walking on trails like this barefoot. But these wet, muddy trails are literally the best of the best when it comes to barefooting. I don't need to worry about lugging around soggy, muddy, smelly shoes the whole day. When my feet get muddy, I just walk through a stream and they're clean again. And there were streams for days. This rickety bridge looks like it's on its last leg. Hiking up hills like this are always hard no matter the altitude. This hike was at around 3,500 feet of altitude, so nothing compared to some of the mountains I've crossed on this trip. But when you're hiking, you notice every small difference in the air. As I was nearing the top, I found some wild fruits. Anyone know what these little red fruits are? I bet most of you have eaten them before. Well, probably drank them actually. But maybe you never tried them straight off of the plant. The red skin has a faint sweetness to it. It's tasty, and it's even better when you pick it fresh from the trail. This gives you a better look at the plant covered with the fruits. As I ventured further up the mountain, I reached something I've never seen anywhere in the world. Something truly special. In this patch of the high jungle lies the majestic waterfalls called Sirenayoc. The name Sirenayoc means the place of the mermaids. But these aren't ocean mermaids. According to Andean legends, these mermaids live in mountain waterfalls and springs, where travelers have claimed to hear their mysterious music echoing through the valley. I hope I don't get taken by a mermaid. Well, maybe that wouldn't be the worst way to go. This is my first time seeing two waterfalls dropping down on both sides of the mountain. I've seen taller waterfalls, I've seen wider waterfalls, but I've never seen two massive waterfalls crashing down on opposite sides of the same canyon. I could feel the breeze coming off of the falls as it misted my face and body. Thanks a lot to Dan and Morena for showing me this awesome place. I would have never known this place even existed or ever thought to visit it if it weren't for you two. Look how much taller the falls on the left side are. It's got to be at least twice as high as the one on the right. Flying the drone here was a little sketchy, as there was water falling down from all angles. I really didn't want today to become drone crash number 5. Before leaving, I had to check out the bottom of these falls. The closer I got, the more powerful these gusts of air and mist became. I guess this sound of the water cascading down the mountains is what a singing mermaid sounds like. At least a mermaid that lives up here in the mountains of the jungle. I really wanted to get in and go for a swim. But it was already late in the afternoon, and without the sun shining, it would have been freezing. Time to start heading back down the mountain. This time, I went for the sombrero helmet combo. Dan took us flying down the mountain on his motorcycle like a pro. It's not my bike, but I still love it. Something about cruising down a huge hill on 2 wheels makes me feel alive. The wind blowing in my face and the bumpiness of the road gets my adrenaline going. Back in town, they invited me to dinner. What an awesome couple. Thanks so much for showing me around Kiabomba. Back at the hotel, I was still being tempted by the pool. Despite being in the center of the town, the hotel still had a chill feel to it. I'll have a bit more time to rest before I head back out onto the bike. In the morning, I'll pedal out of Kiabomba as I work my way higher up into the mountains towards the Incan capital, Cusco. Yeah, I couldn't resist any longer. I finally had to jump in. Tomorrow, it's back on the bike as I begin the climb towards Cusco. I'll see you on the next adventure.